Good morning, Kern County. Thanks for watching 23 ABC News at 11 a.m. I'm Lindsey Adams. We start with breaking news stemming from the O.J. Simpson case from 20 years ago. Police are now investigating and testing a knife reportedly found on property owned by the former football star. This morning, the LAPD discussed the discovery of the knife that was apparently in possession of a retired police officer. LAPD said the knife was turned over to the officer back in the late 1990s during construction on the property owned by Simpson. Detectives recently learned about the knife and are now investigating. Right now, the officer is not facing any charges.
I was really surprised. I would think that an LAPD officer, if this story is accurate as we're being told, would know that anytime you come into contact with evidence, that you should and shall submit that to investigators. So I don't know what the circumstances are why that didn't happen, or if that's entirely accurate, or if this whole story is possibly bogus from the get-go.
Now, this discovery comes more than 20 years after Simpson was accused of killing his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ronald Goldman, who were both found stabbed to death. Simpson was acquitted in the murders back in 1995. Well, this morning, police are looking for anyone tied to a stabbing in southeast Bakersfield that left one man dead. According to police, officers found a man in the 5200 block of Galen Avenue just before 9 last night, suffering from a stab wound. The victim, who has not been identified, was taken to an area hospital where he later died. No arrests have been made and no suspect information has been released. Let's check in now with meteorologist Mike Boyce for a look at your Kerncast 23. All right, Mike, thank you. The investigation continues into a homicide that occurred last month on the 3000 block of Whitley Drive in southwest Bakersfield. On January 17th, officers arrived on Whitley Drive to find Edward Flemings suffering from a gunshot wound. Now, he later died from his injuries. Police have located surveillance video of two subjects considered persons of interest who may have been involved in the shooting. If you have any information on this case, you're asked to call BPD. And this morning, Kern County Sheriff's officials they're looking for a man that they believe was in an Oildale home during an 8-hour standoff. Sheriff's officials say a man who has not been identified entered a home on Wrench Road at about 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Sheriff's deputies and a SWAT team arrived at the scene believing the man, who has several warrants out for his arrest, was in the home's attic. But around 12:30 in the morning, about 8 hours after deputies first received a call, KCSO officials determined that the man was not in the home anymore. Officials believe the suspect may be armed as they continue with their search. A man is recovering this morning in the hospital following a shooting yesterday in Lamont. According to the Kern County Sheriff's Office, it happened near the intersection of Parrish Avenue and Phillips Street. The victim was a Hispanic man in his 20s. His condition is not known. Two people have been hospitalized after the car they were driving rolled over near Interstate 5. According to the CHP, a car heading east on Copus Road tried passing a truck just before 6 this morning. The car started to drift and ended up hitting the truck, causing the car to roll over. There were 4 people in the car. They suffered minor to major injuries. 2 of the passengers had to be airlifted from that scene. The inmate who allegedly tried to break out of the Lerdo jail is set to be formally charged this morning with more than a dozen felonies, including attempted murder. 23-year-old Ramon Castro faces 6 counts of kidnapping, 4 counts of assault with a deadly weapon on an officer, and 1 count of attempted murder, along with several other charges. Kern County Sheriff's deputies say that while transporting Castro and 6 other inmates, he slipped off his cuffs, overtook a prison transport van, and tried to escape. He's being held on $1.3 million bail. Oil prices this morning are seeing a slight drop, but will end the week on an overall positive note. Both the U.S. crude and Brent oil crude, the global benchmark, dropped by just a few cents from yesterday's trading prices. But for the week, crude is up about 5%. Right now, U.S. crude is trading at about $34.55 a barrel, while Brent crude is just under $37 a barrel. Production of U.S. crude has now dropped 6 weeks in a row, which analysts say has helped price support. And still to come here on 23 ABC News at 11 a.m., wrestling mat disease. One wrestler All right, thanks, Mike. A Northern California wrestler set to compete in this weekend's state championships here in Bakersfield wants the tournament postponed so others can avoid exposure to the viral skin infection that he contracted on the mat. Blake Flovin of San Jose says he was diagnosed with herpes gladiatorum, or what's commonly referred as mat herpes. That's a skin infection caused by the herpes virus. Flovin thinks he got the virus from wrestling mats used at the Central Coast Section Championships in San Jose last month. His face is now covered in a severe red rash. He says he's concerned about wrestlers competing this weekend at Rabobank Arena.
Either they need to be stopped from wrestling or the state tournament needs to be postponed. So just trying to prevent this disease from getting to other people.
Take a shower within an hour, have wipes at every tournament, right after your match or right after the tournament, wipe down.
The California Interscholastic Federation, or CIF, says the tournament this weekend in downtown Bakersfield will go on. And as per national protocol, wrestlers must pass a skin inspection before stepping onto the mats. The action kicked off this morning for the state wrestling championship. The cost is $11 for adults, $8 for students, children, and seniors. If you missed this morning's action, you can catch it tomorrow starting at 9 with the final scheduled for 7 p.m. But if running is more of your speed, well, you're in luck because a marathon is set to take place right here in Bakersfield. And that's right, a full marathon or a half marathon and a 5K. They're all set for November 13th. The start and finish line are on the Cal State Bakersfield campus, and the 26.2-mile course runs through dozens of neighborhoods. It will also be a qualifier for the Boston Marathon. To learn how to sign up, visit the 23 ABC News mobile and tablet apps. And do you remember growing up and being influenced by speakers at Career Day? Well, 23 ABC's Tweelon Nugent joins us. She was out at McFarland Middle School hoping to find some future journalists.
So in the beginning, I have this whole section that I have to memorize. Sometimes you don't have a lot of time, and if you mess up, what happens?
You get fired.
You don't get fired, but you get put on a funny YouTube video, and then everyone watches you and laughs, right?
And after explaining what her job is like, Tweelon let students give it a try, putting them in front of the camera for a mock live shot. They even helped to get her take video of the class. Students asked her questions about getting a degree in journalism, or how her newsroom works, and about how crazy stories are done. And still here to come on 23 ABC News at 11 a.m., Farm Worker Appreciation, why local farmers are getting together to strengthen their community when 23 ABC News returns.